Hey guys, John here, and welcome back to NASCAR '06 Total Team Control. Alright, so a little bit of an explanation here. This is post-commentary. I recorded this session, episode, whatever you want to call it. It feels like a session because I record for over an hour and then turn it into an episode, but you know what I mean. And for whatever reason, my audio was all messed up. What mic there was mixed in with the game audio, which was like 50 times louder, so you couldn't actually hear me. There was a track that had just the game audio, so I'm using that and I'm post-commentating over it. Also, you might hear it cut out every now and then because it's doing that again, because I switched back to this old style of recording it because I thought I'd fixed it, but apparently I had not. Anyway, we're at Dover in the trucks and messed up that turn and said, frick it, qualifying third at Dover is better than I would normally do, so I'll take it. And now we're going to go on to qualifying for the Nationwide. Alright, so now it's qualifying time for the Nationwide race at Levi Strauss. And yes, the irony of me struggling with the trucks at Levi Strauss and then Nationwide at Dover, and then we get those two tracks again, just reversing series. But anyway, yeah, so I'll talk a little bit more in depth about the issues in a second, but yeah, anyway, we came here and I was like, you know what, maybe we can make the most of this. Maybe we can get a pole start up front and have less troubles with traffic. Our teammate Tony Raines had the pole, then we took it. And I was like, yup, one and done. That's the best possible outcome that I could hope for. And so it's a KHI front row. So yeah, we had this challenge. We had to finish ahead of Bobby Hamilton Racing. That's something to keep in our mind, but as you can see, those guys qualified pretty well. Oh, guys and girl. Enemy there, Montgomery, and then there's Deborah Renshaw, and I think Bobby Hamilton's not too far back from here. I didn't get a great start. Immediately made contact with Deborah Renshaw, and I'm not sure, did that lead to the caution? I can't remember. Let's find out. Yes, she was pinned along the wall, and then Brandon Witt came along and hit her. There you go. Definitely unintentional contact because I just get bad starts and all that, but it did put one of the Bobby Hamilton trucks well behind us, I suppose. But for the challenge to work, me and Cleaver both have to be ahead of them. So there's that. I'm gonna dive inside Montgomery here. He is not happy with me, but that contact sent him up the track. And then, of course, I couldn't get through the turn because Dover and John, you know, oil and water. The truck was just tighter than I thought it would be. The tweak to the setup that I made before and after qualifying I thought would be enough, but it was not. And then it didn't help that Montgomery was on my bumper going into that corner. But we are just scuffing the wall, hitting the wall, losing spots. And at this point, I remember saying, well, it's Dover. What do you expect? I was trying real hard not to get into Kevin Harvick because he's one of the few actual friends that we have, thanks to, you know, him being, I guess, our boss at in Nationwide. But yeah, I could not get through the turns for some reason, and I got into the wall here several times in the first few laps, and it's really frustrating. And I'm sure those of you watching are like, John, your entry's wrong. John, you should have done this setup. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, I get that, but you also have to understand that especially in the older games, that I'm always just bad at Dover. It's just part of who I am. Now in the NASCAR Heat 2, I'm pretty decent at Dover, so that's a thing. But yeah, no, it's uh, it's just something about the way the track. I don't know, the way the turns are, the banking. Something about it. I just never run good here, ever, and it's just how it is. Sorry if you can hear the game audio cutting in and out. I'm gonna have it real low so that's less noticeable. Um, I thought about just forgetting the audio altogether, but I feel like you need to at least hear some audio in the background. So yeah, I'll just have it low. As far as all that goes, I did say I was going to talk about that. Basically, I talked about this before. I changed the way I was qualifying. Wow, the way I was recording these because of the audio cutting out. I had changed it to where I was just capturing the preview window from the game capture software because that at least was making the audio good. However, we did have that slight input delay, which I felt like was affecting my ability to race. So basically, I had changed a bunch of things. You know, I got my new graphics card. I had to reinstall a bunch of stuff recently. Oh god. Things like that, and then yeah, okay, that happened. Anyway, so I think I end up pitting here because I want to try to get on like a different strategy. Plus, I destroyed my car or truck. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that the problem was gone, so I I went back to the old way I was recording it, and unfortunately, the audio cutting out issue happened. It was nice to not have the input delay, although, judging by how I'm racing, I don't think that really made much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so I still don't know why that's happening. It only happens with the original Xbox, but as I've said before, if I'm using the game capture software, it's fine. So it's got to be more of an OBS issue and how it's interpreting the audio from this. But they all come through the same thing. Is this the most annoying part of this? So I don't know. Something is off. It's been off ever since I had to reinstall Windows, and I'm more than happy to blame Windows, but you know, OBS has had some new versions released too, so it could be that. I don't know. But either way, I'm gonna have to go back to the other way of doing it. Simply because, you know, I don't want that audio cutting out issue. And as far as what caused the issue with the audio here, so that, you know, my commentary wasn't in it, that was just, you know, a thing where I had changed the source for Elgato in my OBS program, and I put it in as a new one because I thought maybe that would help, and it changed the audio settings because it was a new Elgato source, so the Elgato was being recorded across all channels, or all tracks of audio, including the one with my commentary. So that was dumb. Somewhat my fault, because I should always just know that it does stupid stuff like that, and I should always triple check it. But if I remember correctly, I did this Saturday, and I was like, I need to get this recorded so I can edit, render, and upload it for tomorrow. You want to try? I tried to upload stuff a day or two early, if at all possible, because of the whole demonetization thing. If it happens, I want to be able to fight it. You know, try to appeal it before the video goes live. So I was in a hurry, in other words, and I forgot to triple check the audio settings. Even still, the audio would have been cutting out, but at the very least, you would have gotten my live reactions to things. So that's, you know, you're missing out on that, I suppose, but whatever. At least you're getting this video. It's a week late, but at least it's happening. You're not going to miss out on what happened here, although, I mean, it's over, and yeah. But, So at this point in the race, I was just trying to hang on to the freaking truck. And I'm on this different pit strategy. All those people pitted, and I almost caused a crash there because I just wasn't expecting. I heard him say they were pitting, but I was already on the bottom with somebody on my outside, so I made contact with Lester. Did not bring out the caution, thankfully, because that would have smurfed over my strategy. And this, I was like, well, this is a caution, but somehow I didn't get tipped across his nose. That's what usually happens. You push, they catch you in the quarter panel, you go into the wall and get turned, and a caution comes out. I sacrificed a ton of time, but I managed to not cause a crash there. Well, not cause a caution. It was a crash. But yeah, so I'm still struggling with the truck. That's obvious. That's not going to change because this is just what it is. But here, my point here is I was waiting to see when it said I was at halfway. And that was when I was going to know how far I could go on fuel. I can't remember the exact lap that I pitted at, but basically my plan was to ride until I saw the yellow fuel light come on, and hopefully, you know, a bunch of people will have gone a lap down, and if a caution came out, then yay. If not, then at the very least, maybe I would have some sort of advantage in taking like no tires or 2 tires, and then getting some track position. But yeah, so I don't think anything much happens for the next little while, so I'm just gonna shut up until stuff happens. Alright, so this is about 10 laps later, and I was a lap ahead at this point. Definitely feeling the tires wearing and all that. Trying to survive as long as possible. And it was about now that I was thinking, should I just bring out a caution? Should I be that guy? Because it is Dover, and I wasn't feeling like confident about my ability to take just 2 tires or no tires and actually survive. So I thought, well, what if I drive on the apron? I always spin out automatically when I drive on the apron. Yeah, it wasn't working. Then I was like, I need to get to pit road. Well, I brought out the caution, but my attempts to do so with a quick spin, not so good. Took me crashing, basically, trying to wall it down and ramming into the end of pit road. So that happened. Anyway, the caution came out, and it was about now that I was thinking, well, this isn't going to actually benefit me as much as I'd hoped, because they're all going to take the wave around. I'll end up first with fresh tires, but that's about it. So I was at this point feeling like, well, I mean, I will get track position, but my truck's still not very good, or at least, well, I guess I should say I'm not very good. My Jackman is just like completely falling apart here. I don't know what the frick he was doing. But it didn't matter because we were the only ones who pitted, so that would have been a terrible pit stop. Anyway, so I was thinking, well, you know, it's fine. We'll deal with it. And then I see that we're 1 lap ahead. And it dawned on me that I guess there weren't wave arounds in this game, even though I thought there were. So I made some contact with him there, which totally messed up my entry into the corner. And at this point I'm thinking, please don't bring out a caution, please don't bring out a caution, please don't bring out a caution, because that would smurf me over. So what I ended up doing was just riding along the wall and letting these people go, because, well, I mean, we've only got, forgot that happened. Our teammate, I don't know what the frick he did there. I was way up and he drove into me. Anyway, at this point, I'm like, it doesn't matter how many of these guys are getting their lap back as long as a caution doesn't come out. There's only 5 laps to go. And so I'm just sitting here hoping that a caution doesn't come out. And yeah, I can't believe Cleaver did that. I'm not sure what the frick he was thinking. Pretty sure I gave him enough room that he wouldn't have to do that. Drive up there like that. And almost brought out a caution that would have cost me the race more than likely here. But at this point, I'm just like, you know what? Just chill. Back up your corners, slow it down, take it easy. Try not to drive erratically, and hope that the AI doesn't bring out a caution. That's all we really got to look forward to here, is hanging on by a thread. And I still don't know for sure, but I guess there just aren't wave rounds in this. In which case, that worked out perfectly for me. It is ironic the way it went down, where I tried to spin myself out twice and was like, well, frick, I guess I can't, and then rammed it into pit road, which did bring out the caution, but not exactly how I intended it. Some of you might think that's dirty, but I think all of us have a worst track. It may not be Dover for you, but you have to admit there were times in a game like this where you're like, I really could use a caution right now, and this is my worst track, and I never finish well here, so... But either way, it happened, and here we are, white flag, trying to hold on to the truck, which it wasn't too bad at this point, but it just had no grip. But it didn't need it, because all we had to do was survive, and we win at Dover. And at this point, I was saying I'm not going to do a burnout because of the circumstances. It was just stupid. But yeah, we ended up winning this race. We made some people mad. I don't know what Cleaver was thinking, honestly. That whole situation was dumb. But it ended up working out for us. And yeah. It's a good points day. I mean, you can't say it wasn't. We didn't even lead the most laps, which was the funny thing. We led 20 laps, but that was not the most laps. Forget who it was. I think it was Crafton, maybe, who led the most laps. I don't remember if I scroll down here and look. Or Hornaday, sorry. I always think Crafton's in that truck. It's Hornaday. But anyway, and Cleaver ended up 15th. But yeah, so let's move on to the nationwide race after we see our little celebration, and we'll get that race going. Alright. So again, stupid, bad, freaking terrible start to the race. I was worried about washing up into Reigns right there at the start, so I tried to like pull it down, enter low, and the car just like spun the tires or something, and I was just along for the ride. Luckily, no big crash, and we cycle out third on that, which obviously I would have liked to have been leading to start. I don't know why I hit that inside wall. That's something that I do, I think, at least a couple of times. But anyway, it could have been better, but it also could have been way worse, so I'll take it. Honestly, the car is pretty good. And the thing is, when I don't have to deal with other cars around me, I can survive on this track pretty well. The problem is there is a lot of side-by-side racing here, and not a lot of grip. And so yeah, Shane Mill, he hadn't been mad at us for a long time, but now he's mad at us again because, well, not super mad, but doesn't like us because I grinded alongside him there. And I mean, I just, it wasn't intentional. It probably looked intentional, but I tell you this, I was along for the ride, as I typically am with these things. People just assume that, I'm sitting here running second, and they're like, oh, I mean, it can't be that hard or whatever. But it's like, this game, you're constantly fighting the car. I mean, constantly. I don't care how good your equipment is. You're constantly fighting the car. There is a lot of realism to the handling of this, of the cars in this game. Somebody had said that this game didn't seem too realistic to them. That's I don't understand that at all. You must not have actually played this game then. Sure, the total team control part isn't realistic, you know, jumping from car to car, but um the handling of the cars, the physics and all, is actually quite realistic. Way more so than like the newer games, for example. But anyway, at this point, I wanted to pass Reigns, but I wanted to do it cleanly. That was bad. I wanted to do it cleanly. I did not want to get into him and mess him up because, you know, we're trying to help him stay up in the points as well. Because, you know, if he does have to give his car up to Stewart at some point, which honestly I'm still confused by. Is there something in this game that prevents Reigns from having to get out of the car if he's doing well? Because, oh gosh, well, so much for not making contact with our teammate. Because I saw somebody else's video of this. I think it was, yeah, it was Aaron, ATF Gaming, and he was, I think he was doing like an all cups thing of this, or all cups, all titles or whatever run of this as a stream game. Whatever the case, I saw that Tony Stewart had replaced Tony Reigns in one of the races. And it was one of the early races, I think. And what's weird is we're like, what, halfway through the season? And Reigns hasn't got out of this car yet. But he's also been doing well. We've got him, well, 2 wins. And you know, he runs top 10 a bunch and all that stuff. And he's like second in the points. And it's almost like the game knows that and isn't taking him out of the car. But I know for a fact in like past playthroughs of this game back in the day that Reigns did get set out in races I was in for Stewart and it messed up his points. So I'm confused by that, honestly. I mean, is it different because I'm part of the team? I don't know. It's confusing to me. If somebody knows, let me know what the deal is there. Because, it's real frustrating wondering all the time if he's just going to lose a bunch of points. Because, like, I'm trying my best to help him all the time. But that's also, what the frick was I doing? Oh, I was doing my pit options. I was like, what am I in the options screen for? Anyway, so if anybody knows that, it'd be good to know because, yeah, like, I want to help him stay up in the points, but also he's our points competitor now. Like, he's second in the points, and we're trying to build up a big enough lead that we can, you know, not have to, what am I saying? I got really confused about, oh, right, okay, let me just quickly say, I switched back to John Hamilton here because I was afraid that my pit strategy was going to be messed up because I hit halfway on fuel sooner than I thought I should. So I switched back to drive just John Hamilton's car because I figured I'd let the AI handle the last few laps before the pit stops of my car, and hopefully it would get to halfway. But anyway, right, so we want to build up a big enough points lead so that we can skip some races, right, to keep the truck championship alive. But, you know, if we're having to help Reigns all the time, we're not really going to gain many points. Like, if he finishes second to us or beats us, that's not really helping that cause. So I'm really torn now on helping him a lot. I want him to stay up there in the points competitively, but I also don't want to give up points to him either. I did get up there and lead a lap with my car, but it just wasn't handling well enough to keep him behind us as the tires started to wear. So that's why I settled into second, and I got John Hamilton's car, and you can see his fuel hit halfway much later than mine for some reason. Also, his tires are staying fresh as well, and his car is just handling way better than mine. Like, if I actually cared about John Hamilton, I could have won with this car easily. But I don't care about John Hamilton. I only jumped into this car in order to let the AI pit my car. That's one and only reason that I did this. I didn't want to mess up Reigns, and I didn't want to mess up my car, so I figured if I'm going to mess something up, I'm going to mess it up for John Hamilton, because frick that guy. I know some people don't understand my animosity, maybe, towards John Hamilton. If you haven't seen, like, all of the videos I've ever done of this game, I had a lot of run-ins with him when he was my teammate, and when he's not my teammate, and it's just, I've grown to just not like the guy. Like, there was a video, I can't remember exactly when it was, but he was my teammate, and he completely dumped me for the win of a race, and I was so angry about it. And it just, like, from that point on, I was just like, you know what, I don't care about this guy, I'm not gonna help him. Frick him. But I have helped him inadvertently a few times this season, because, you know, I've switched to him to avoid issues with my car or whatever, and ended up getting him a good finish. And right now you can see I've driven him up to third, although I'm not pushing it here. I'm actually just kind of riding until pit stops. And honestly, I could have edited this out, but I had some stuff to say there, so whatever. But we're coming up on pit stops pretty soon. Right there. My car was gonna go to pit road and then didn't, and I was worried about that. I also almost caused a caution. But yeah, this was a bit of an issue, because the way these guys peel off to come to pit road is kind of scary. Then my car didn't go that time. I don't know, maybe he was just slow behind that other guy, I don't know. This lap car here was being a menace. Guy I got into there a second ago ran my car up the track there a bit, and like, what the frick is going on with that dude? But I was just at this point just kind of riding, because I wanted to see when they were gonna pit, and all that. So, but yeah, pit road entry here is like, you see how they come out, and then there's people coming in, and it's an issue. That, look, you see that guy just got into my car there and almost spun it out. These lap cars are being a menace, and I was like, I'm kind of glad I'm not in the car though, because I feel like I might have actually done something that would have gotten it wrecked. I think my car is pitting now. He went up there and he hit that guy. That was funny. He gave that guy a nudge and then came to pit road. But so at this point, Reigns is still leading. He actually built up a pretty big lead because of all that. So at this point, I was concerned that when I jumped back to my car, I wasn't going to be able to get the win. There's Reigns pitting. I just kept Hamilton out because I knew he had extra fuel, and I was trying to decide what sort of strategy I wanted to do with him. You know, all things considered. But, am I bringing... Yeah, I'm bringing it in this time. And... yeah, I don't think I messed with anything. I upped his tire pressure a bit. But, yeah. I thought about doing, like, a strategy call there, but in the end, I don't really care where John Hamilton finishes. So I didn't. So we're going to see here in a minute how this all shakes out. Alright, so leaving pit road here, John Hamilton, he comes out in the top 10, but not everybody has pitted yet. So I was waiting for things to cycle through. Make sure everything did. We came out third. Whoa. Big contact. These same freaking two guys, too. These lap cars. So I was trying to figure out where Reigns was. He was way back there. And I was like, what the frick? What happened on his pit stop or pit entry or pit exit? Something messed him up. He lost a ton of spots. And so I switched back here. And I thought, well, I'll gain him some spots. Although, like I said, I'm still like at this point where I'm like, should I be gaining him points? Like, my car ended up out in front in that pit exchange. So we had a really good pit stop. Reigns had a bad one or something. Hamilton ended up in a pretty good spot as well. But at this point, I'm like, I guess I'll help him. But there's so much freaking lap traffic here, too. Like, hard to tell who I'm actually racing against at this point. You see we're passing people and our positions aren't going up. Definitely drove that in way too hard and had to slam on the brakes. Reigns' car is pretty good. Honestly, I think Hamilton had the best car of the three of us. Alright, so that was a pass for position on the 119. And that got him up to 8th. And, I can't remember. No, I think I switched back. Yeah, I switched back to Hamilton here. I decided, I think at this point, if I recall, to let the AI drive my car till we got closer to the end, and then I would get it, because I just didn't want to take a chance on, you know, doing something stupid, because I'm just not good at this track, and maybe that's a bit cheap, but it's not like I was just laying over. Like, at this point, I was racing Miller hard with Hamilton to try to get past him, so it's not like I was just giving up. And yeah, I think I'll cut here and see you guys when we get a little closer to the end. Well, let's have this battle, I guess, first. I definitely was working hard to pass him without bringing out a caution, but a little bit of contact there, getting a little impatient. Make the pass. And here I wasn't really trying to catch my car, but I definitely decided at this point not to just, you know, slow down. So I did start running competitive lap times. And like I said, we're going to skip ahead to a little closer to the end. Alright, so it's about 12 laps later. And I do believe I'm about to switch over to my car. You can see that we got the lead down to less than 1.5 seconds, like 1 1/3 seconds. That is proof that I wasn't, you know, driving slow and just letting my car win. I did run up there and get kind of close, but traffic was crazy, and the AI did a good job of getting my car through traffic. But either way, we got like 2 laps to go here, so I jumped back in my car, and I'm just like, we're just gonna run smooth laps. We're gonna finish this race without incident, and you know, bring home another win here. So it's the white flag. There's a guy up here that hates me, so not a good idea to try to pass him, I feel. So I actually started sharing draft just a bit there at the end, but for no reason really. And that's the win. So we actually win at Dover and Levi Strauss. And what a crazy set of circumstances. Both of them kind of weird circumstances, you know. We had the caution that trapped everybody a lap down in the truck race so that I could get that win. And then this one, I kind of let the AI do its thing and basically got me the win. But I mean, I did have our car in position. I just didn't really trust myself to do what needed to be done. Tony Raines ended up leading the most laps and finishing 8th. So we didn't even gain that many points on him. But yeah, his pit stop definitely smurfed him out of a win, that's for sure. But, you know, it is what it is. I was sitting here, I think I was crunching the numbers, trying to figure out how many points we gained on him. But at this point, I was like, we really need to think about, you know, looking out for number one. And so, yeah. Anyway, let's do our celebration, and then I'll see you guys at the menu. All right, and here we are at the point standings. As you can see, we have a 352-point lead, which is not quite two full races. John Hamilton sitting at 492. So our team is 1, 2, 3 in the points, which is kind of amazing. But yeah, so like if Reigns doesn't lose that ride, then we need to make sure that we're gaining points on him every week. And so maybe we can't help him win like we had been. It's just the way it is. So we need to build up that points lead so that we can skip at least 2 races. It would be great. I think the only way we're going to pull this off is if we skip both 2 races in this series and 2 races in the truck series. And maybe eventually I'll show the truck thing. At this point, I don't know what I was doing. I was rambling on about how many points you get per race and crap like that. But actually, we may be 2 full races. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how many points you lose for not being in the race, or if they give you credit for last place points. Anyway, eventually, maybe I'll show the truck points here. John, show the truck points. John, show the truck points. Okay, well, there's Cup, Jimmy Johnson. There's Whelan, Terry Green. There we go. 131 points. That's not even a full race lead in that yet, and we need to get that up to 2. And honestly, that's going to be entirely difficult because we're going to need Montgomery and Hamilton and Van Dyke to have problems. Conceivably, we could get 2 ahead of Hattori, but yeah, it's not looking great. Our plan is to try to skip 2 in each so that we can win both championships. I'm just not sure we're going to get to do that. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this one's kind of a mess, and obviously post-commentated and all that. Hopefully we'll have things sorted out next time. I guess I'm going to have to go back to that other style of recording, but whatever. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed, hammer that like button, share it with your friends, subscribe if you're new to join the Wolfpack, and I will see you next time for more NASCAR 06. Bye.